Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the massive crisis that the government's facing in regards to the EPC legislation that they're planning to roll out in the next few months. Now, this is a major concern because in this survey done by one of the biggest buy-to-let lenders, a lot of landlords either don't know about all the rules or they're not particularly bothered and they're just planning to sell their properties, which is going to cause a massive rental crisis. So in this video, I'm going to give you all the stats on what's happening with this EPC stuff and talk about what the government really need to do, along with the goal of the mortgage provider that did this survey, what their recommendations are as well to get a suitable solution. Now, if you're new around here and you haven't done already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. We'll give you all the latest EPC updates, house price updates, interest rates updates, renters' rights bill updates, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. How do we do that? Simple. Smash like, tickle like, do something to the like button. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that's really helped the channel grow. So thank you to everybody that takes a moment to do that. And lastly, thank you to everyone that subscribes. We just hit 44,000 subscribers yesterday, which is insane. So thanks a lot to everyone that subscribes. So what's going on? Well, the government really need to get the message out about this EPC stuff that they're proposing. And right now, a lot of landlords either don't know about the EPC stuff or they're just hoping that it goes away. Now, there's reason to think that you could hope that it goes away because the Conservatives, the Tories, they had very similar EPC rules and they abolished it just before the general election. So no one knows for sure. Maybe Labour do this. We also have the fact that this isn't an active law at the moment. So there's nothing to say that you have to get this EPC work done. And that also is delaying people doing work because maybe they're happy to do the work right now, but they just want to see what the actual law is and what are the deadlines going to be. So who's done this survey? Well, it's one of the biggest lenders in the UK. It's the Mortgage Works. And the Mortgage Works are one of the biggest buy-to-let brands out there. They're part of Nationwide Group, who also own Virgin Money, Nationwide and Mortgage Works, and this is their buy-to-let arm. And so one of the biggest problems that they've said that they found in their survey amongst landlords is just ignorance. A lot of landlords don't even know what's coming down the line. They maybe have heard something, maybe they've watched a little bit on my channel, maybe they've read something in the news, but most landlords, because most landlords aren't watching my YouTube channel, most landlords aren't watching the news every day, they're just living their life and they're not aware of what's coming. And the Mortgage Works is saying this is a problem and this could mean an absolute crisis because let's just say they do pass the rules and we've got to get up to date to an EPC level C by 2028 on new lets. What happens if people don't become aware of that until 2027? You just couldn't get all of those people's work done. There's 2.5 million properties that are below the level C that's required. So 62% of landlords are unaware that you need an EPC at all. They don't even know that you need an EPC in order to rent your property out. Now, maybe that's because they've got an estate agent that just did it for them and they just paid the fees and they weren't really sure what they were paying for. That could be part of it. Or maybe they've just had a long-term tenant and they have an out-of-date EPC at the moment. To let a property, a new let, you need legally you're required if you're selling or renting your property to get a valid EPC certificate. And the fact that a good chunk, more than half of landlords, 2/3 nearly there, are saying they don't even know that you need it, that's a bit of a problem and that's where it starts. 33% of landlords don't know that you need a C. They're not aware that the new legislation coming out says that you need a level C in order to rent that property out. That's not great. Worse than that, 73% have no idea on what the dates are. So that's a problem. That leads into this ignorance part here, doesn't it? So most of landlords, like, that's crazy. Most landlords are not aware that this is a thing. So even if this passes through Parliament and gets moving, it doesn't necessarily mean landlords are going to do anything about it if they're not aware that it's law. It would need to be made aware to these people, because yeah, you can say, look, the landlords can get fined, you can stop them renting it out, and all this sorts of problems. But the rental market hasn't grown since 2016. The population has gone through the roof since 2016. So this could be a massive crisis if you suddenly get lots of people not being able to rent their property, and then suddenly there's massive problems with where are you going to put all these tenants. This could be a big problem. Now, some landlords are just saying, look, 28% saying, I'm not going to do the work, they're going to sell, right? Now, the surveys are saying that there's been surveys recently where up to 70% of landlords said they're thinking about selling, but this survey says 28% they're just selling. They're doing it, they're getting out the market, they've had enough. That's going to be a huge problem if that actually happens, 28%. So look, realistically, 70% of landlords, they're not going to leave, right? But even if 5% of landlords left, that would be crazy. That would mean it really, really would be difficult to get a rental property for hundreds of thousands of people. The population is still going to grow in that time, and you're going to shrink the rental stock. You're saying you're going to build all these houses. That's not going to happen either, is it? So this is a big problem. What else is going on? Well, 30% of landlords are going to increase rent. So they're going to pass the costs on. And remember that some of these landlords, they don't need to do the work, right? So this is out of all the landlords surveyed, 30% of them. So a good chunk of the people that need to do work, they're just going to pass that on with higher rents. The average cost saving expectation with this EPC stuff is £250 per property per year, not per month, per year. The costs could be as much as 15 grand. And the government has already said that rents could go up by 4 grand a year. If you're a tenant and you've got your option of saving 250 quid a year, but your rent goes up by 4 grand, I'm sure you'd happily stay in an EPC level D. That's the thing. So the Mortgage Works have got a suggestion on this, and they're saying that this guidance should be pushed out till 2030. And so they're saying rather than making it 2028, give landlords until 2030, which makes sense. Either way, whatever happens with this, we've got to get the word out to more landlords. So if you could do me a favour, share this video, click on the share button, share this video with a landlord. If you click that share button, you can email it, you can Facebook message it, you can WhatsApp it to other landlords. People need to know what's going on. You also need to let people know about grants. There are grants in some local councils, and landlords can get grants to do work. Now, not every council has that. Some councils have already run out of the money from that. Some councils didn't get the money from that. But it's worth asking your council if you could benefit from that grant and improve your EPC due to that. So it's shocking how few people know about that. That's the big problem for the government, in my opinion. They need to get the message out there. And I think realistically, if this is going to happen, they need to get on with it. Like, pass the law so people know where they stand. Let us know what the figures are. In November, it was talked about that you'd have to spend 10 grand minimum, or at least 10 grand if you can't get it to a level C. Then they changed that to 15 grand. Neither of those are law. Get it started so people can plan. Mortgage companies are now giving better deals to people that have a C. It's a mess. Let me know what you think in the comments. And before you go, make sure you check out the fundamentals of property investing. With all the doom and gloom, there are still great opportunities there, but you can't just get vanilla buy-to-lets anymore. You need to buy properties where you can add value. And in the fundamentals of property investing, we teach you exactly that. It's £20 one-time payment. Hundreds of you have taken that this week. Thank you to everyone that has taken advantage of that offer. I'll teach you how to find properties below market value, how to add value to the properties, and how to maximise cash flow on those properties. It's great for existing landlords and people that are thinking about maybe dipping their toe in and don't want to spend thousands of pounds on other courses like everyone else does. So click below and check that out. Do subscribe, share this video, and check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.